Let's head back to the tribe first. There are some things I need to get from my workshop. Disassembling the central inscription, it's not going to be easy.
Algo no le huele obviamente ya a Xilonen.
You two can wait outside for a moment. I just need to go in and grab something. The workshop is a little messy, so unfortunately, I won't be able to show you around.
¡Queremos verlo!
Oh, yeah, that's not really what I mean. It's not the mess that's really the problem. It's just that the workshop is cluttered with way too much stuff. Books, files, and even ancient
Prácticamente
texts
está
I got
diciendo,
from the
no hay
masters of the
espacio para
Nightwind.
ustedes, mijas.
Everything's piled up to the ceiling. You probably won't know where to step once you're inside. Kachina suffered quite an unfortunate series of events the last time she went inside. Well, I suppose it was my fault for being so focused on searching for information at the time that I forgot to lock the door. After entering the workshop, she was shocked to find herself face to face with a massive woven scroll from the Masters of the Nightwind, and then she turned around and knocked over a huge stack of forging blueprints. She
Pobrecita.
tried to step out of the way, but tripped on a poster tube that was behind her, and then boom! The forging blueprints came crashing down right onto her head.
En serio, los desarrolladores tienen algún odio contra Kachina o no, porque pobrecita, le pasa de todo. Qué dolor.
She's lucky I noticed in time. I found Kachina in a daze and managed to save her before an entire set of the history of the Children of Echoes was about to bury her. I then dragged her up to the second floor. Ever since then, Kachina always waits outside the door and doesn't
Sí, es
dare
como,
take
no
step
me
in
va a
whenever
volver a
she comes
pasar
to
esto,
see
¿ok?
me.
Te espero allá afuera, ¿vale? Tantos libros ahí dentro.
Yeah, you're an artisan and craftswoman after all. We thought there would be weapons and armor hanging all over the place. But it seems more like a library than a workshop.
Well, my primary work is forging ancient names, which is much trickier than making swords and tools. Aside from the necessary craftsmanship, I also need to consult many ancient texts. You probably already know that each ancient name represents a certain spirit, behind which are countless related stories to support it. In other words, the essence of an ancient name is the physical manifestation of a certain spiritual will. And as a name engraver, when I'm working on a new ancient name, I'm not only trying to give it a physical shape, but more importantly, I'm also trying to understand the spirit contained within the name. And to do that, I have to collect as many related stories as possible and read through them all. But, as you might
Debe de
know,
tener una
people
excelente
tend to
memoria esa
add
doña,
a
¿eh?
lot of extraneous details when it comes to stories about themselves. For stories that have been clearly exaggerated or altered, I must gather other related stories and information as cross-references. This way, I can filter out all the absurd and exaggerated details and restore the person's
Ya, me
life
imagino
to
que
its
se ha de
true nature.
encontrar a
Only in
varios que
true stories can you
le
find
quieren
the
poner mucha
authentic
crema a sus
spirit.
tacos, como dicen aquí.
And this is the only way for the spirit to become an ancient name that matches its essence.
We've heard about the concept behind ancient names before, but after hearing you explain the details, Paimon can't help but think that ancient names are really powerful.
Indeed. Ojalá fueran más poderosos todavía.
Well, no matter how powerful ancient names could be, they would never be able to suddenly turn into a blade or allow you to smash through an entire cliff in one punch. It's just a form of spiritual power that's passed down from generation to generation. It doesn't have those kinds of physically tangible effects. Well, take your own names, for example. From the moment you appeared in this world, some person had already prepared a blessing for you. And that person then condensed this blessing into your name and gave it to you as a gift. It may feel like the moment you received your name is already in the past, but it will always stay with you and move with you in the future. Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. Well, that's what Auntie once told me. And with this blessing, people will become more confident as they walk into their future. To put it another way, it's like having a lamp in your hand as you walk through the darkness of night.
it's that. If you're alone when you're walking in the dark, it's easy to get scared and tired quickly. But if someone else is walking with you, then it won't be nearly as scary. And, well, you might still get tired, but it'll still be a whole lot better than walking alone. The traveler always has Paimon by her side, though, so she'll never have to worry about that. Oh, Paimon sure many wish they could be in your shoes, traveler.
Pero si tú eres la que siempre se casa primero cuando caminamos. Orgullosa.
It gets tiring. But we're getting off topic. We can talk about that later.
Ok. La próxima vez espero que no te quedes dormida sobre mi espalda.
Anyway, this is what Clisoli told me when I was training as a name engraver. And to be honest, I've only understood 20% of what she said at most. I've never been able to figure out the rest.
But doesn't that mean you basically don't get it?
Well, that's not entirely true. Auntie and I have at least come to a consensus on the most important thing. Ugh, you know what? I am sick of talking. We can talk about all of this later. Please, wait a moment while I grab my things.
Ok. Un trueno inquietante seguido de unos terribles chirridos. Debería de conseguirse una casa más grande entonces. Y Xilonen sale a toda prisa con una caja entre los brazos, se da la vuelta y cierra la puerta de una patada, dejando atrás el polvo que se había levantado del ruido de los libros cayendo en cascada. Insisto, creo que Xilonen se merece una casa más grande.
Did you hear a whole section of something collapsing there just now?
Más tarde lo arreglo, dice.
It's fine, it's fine. It was just a bunch of very old ancient name records. I've already made copies of them.
What?
I kept this set of phlogiston wedges in the back, so it wasn't easy to take out. I had to resort to brute force. Come on, let's go disassemble the central inscription. It shouldn't take long.
No, bueno. Pagón. Señor, ayuda a Xilonen a desmontar el grabado que está eligiendo. Ok. Por supuesto está arriba.
Here we are. This is the place.
Ok.
This cliff is pretty high. What are we going to do here? Are we going to climb to the very top and then throw this inscription down the cliff?
Tenemos que desmontarlo, no romperlo.
I'm going to use phlogiston to make an engraving circle on the cliff wall. That will allow me to investigate the internals of the central inscription. Now let me see if this thing can even turn on. I was still an apprentice last time I used it. Before we attempt to engrave the inside pattern of an ancient name with phlogiston, we always use this to draw out the engraving diagram on a cliff or open ground. Only after we've confirmed that phlogiston can flow properly through the internal engravings can we start formally working on the small internal engravings of the ancient name. If we want to dismantle the central inscription in a non-destructive manner, we'll have to use this thing. I really don't want to engrave such a large diagram with my bare hands.
Oh, so you'll be able to see what it looks like on the inside without ruining Tlasoli's inscription?
For the most part. If it were just an ordinary unfinished ancient name piece, I'd just take it apart and pour phlogiston into the internal engravings to see everything. But since it's a central inscription, it would be better not to destroy the blessing that Auntie has prepared
Mucho
for
texto al acto.
So, Xilonen, does this central inscription fall under the 20% you understand about ancient names? Or the other 80% you don't understand?
Yo me estoy confundiendo, yo estoy al 100% de lo que no estoy entendiendo ni papa. Hay un 80% de probabilidades de que sea el 20%.
Don't worry. As I said, Auntie and I share an understanding of the most important principle, which is names are intrinsically valuable. Only by having names can things be sorted and categorized. They allow the world to become more orderly and identifiable. For example, when I order ore, I would usually say I need volcanic crystals of about 35% purity and no more than 3% of impurities. Without specific names, I would only be able to go to the ore merchant and say, I want this and this. No, this isn't it. That one. No, not that one either. Yeah, you see what I mean? Names are a crucial part of how we standardize our workflow.
O sea,
Without
sí.
names, phew, the work would be impossible.
O sea, se comprende.
Yes, because forging ancient names is first and foremost a technical job. There's no debating that. As for the question of why it's important, as long as it does not affect your ability to perform your work, you'll gradually understand it as you put the process into practice.
La eficacia es lo primero.
After all, creating an ancient name is quite the complicated process. Well, let me break it down even further. We're not in the tribe right now anyway. Essentially, by forging ancient names, I'm assigning nicknames to the heroes in Outland's history. Giving someone a name
Así como
is a
que
subjective expression.
el Kevin,
You
el
just need to
Brian,
express your hopes
la
and
Tiffany.
wishes for them. But giving someone a nickname is a much more objective
Porque el
expression.
Kevin es muy diferente a
To come up with
Kevin.
a fitting
No,
and
no, no,
accurate
no, no, mal, no
requires
confundas
much
a
thought and
el Kevin con
observation.
Kevin, ¿eh? Y
If
no confundes a
ancient
la
names or
Tiffany con
nicknames
Tiffany, ¿eh?
aren't
Es
descriptive
muy
enough,
diferente.
no
Sí,
one
sí,
will
sí,
remember
sí,
them
sí.
anyway. So the best I can do is gather all the information I could and try to come up with the most fitting nicknames possible. Even a minor mistake in the process could cause people to misunderstand the nickname. For a name engraver such as myself, such mistakes would be considered a major blunder.
¿Acaso los de Genshin Impact como que interpretaron todo el tema de los sobrenombres que nosotros ponemos como el Tunas como algo más más elegante como esto?
Paimon isn't trying to come up with a nickname for Xilonen. Besides, all of Paimon's nicknames have been very descriptive. Everyone can remember them.
Phew. Now I'm curious. Why don't you, come up with one for me?
Ah, sí, sí es cierto. Paimon tiene la costumbre de ponerle sobrenombres a medio mundo.
Of course. This is also my line of
Como
work, you
bull
know.
checker.
Go ahead.
Ay, extraño a Ito. Debería de volverlo a usar.
Xilonen. Well, she uses phlogiston to forge weapons and make names for others.
¿Te ha puesto a sudar, Paimon? Sí, porque usualmente le pone los sobrenombres, pero a la gente que le cae mal y Xilonen no le cae mal. Fuegos.
Yeah, not bad. And quite fitting, too. I'll remember it. But, you should keep observing my work, Paimon. Maybe you'll come up with an even better nickname. Right, okay. Time to make like a smith and start smithing. Watch closely.
Ah, caray. Ah.
Adjust the inclination by 2 degrees. The error margin is within an acceptable amount, but I'll extend the inscription link a little more just to be safe. I'll leave some space here. When the linked ingredients are activated, the inscriptions here will overlap with each other. There. That should complete the flow.
Amazing, Xilonen! You were running all over that cliff as if it was flat ground!
Ese es el poder de los vástagos del Lec.
Oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with my tribe. It's just the phlogiston adhesive I have on my shoes. But after all that running around, I'll have to infuse them with more phlogiston again. Huh. I should prepare a spare supply of phlogiston to bring with me next time.
No me digas que llevas todo tu cuerpo contigo en todo momento. Ah, no me digas que llevas todo tu equipo contigo en todo el... Como que todo tu cuerpo, o sea, obviamente, ¿no? No es que se pueda despegar la cabeza de repente.
Key equipment on hand. I can show them to you when we next find the time, but let's get to work first. Let me see. Start with anchor 1 and activate it with density 3 phlogiston.
Y es como se hace entonces un nombre antiguo.
So are you done checking the inscription, Xilonen? How does it look?
I didn't find any anomalies in the Flichist engraving. All the adjustments are indeed based on ancient name engraving techniques.
Entonces todo está dentro de lo normal.
That means we can help Tlisoli and Nichka now, right?
Well, probably, but I have good news and bad news. Oh, but I'm also just going to go ahead and share both, so it's not like you'll have a choice in the matter.
Paimon will cover her ears after the good news.
Well, even if you cover your ears,
Claro.
the issue will still continue to exist. But, you know, before we get to that, I want to ask the traveler a question.
Ah.
What are your thoughts on absorbing memories?
Es necesario para salvar a Nechka. Hay algo que no está bien. Claro, porque ¿qué importa que regreses a Nechka si nadie se va a acordar de su vida?
I knew you felt the same way, and that'll save me
O sea,
some initial
volvemos a lo mismo. Va a volver a ser
You've been very good at that
una
anyway.
persona, la persona diferente,
Hard
porque
to
nadie la va a
control the
recordar.
absorption of memories. And technically speaking, this type of inscription has the power to do far more than absorb memories related to a single person.
En serio.
By herself, Auntie can't handle that level and scope of work, but if she has accomplices, it is completely possible for her to use this inscription to accomplish far bigger things.
Accomplices? You make it sound like she's committing a crime.
Well, here's the good news. Yes, this blaze gem inscription would be the perfect tool to commit crimes, but we haven't found any accomplices.
Claro, porque
or
así
signs
puedes
that she
borrarle la
intends to put
memoria a
it
medio
to such
mundo si es que
uses.
hiciste algo malo.
From a purely
Y nadie te
objective
puede
standpoint,
culpar
we
después.
can consider that possibility as yet to be confirmed for now. The bad news is, there's still an underlying problem with this blaze gem inscription that cannot be ignored. I believe I've mentioned this before. Ancient names operate with the help of the Wyab, granting them the power to read information kept in the ley lines.
Ajá.
In this process, the Wyab
Los cuales no
actually
tienen nada que ver.
function like relays, helping the ancient name bearer sense the information from within the ley lines. If you remove the Wyab from the process and don't use any tools, then finding a specific story is akin to trying to scoop up a specific grain of sand from a rushing river.
O sea que, antes incluso de poder sacar el grano de arena, esa persona se ahogaría.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who attempts to do so will likely lose most of their cognitive function or become a babbling madman who talks to themselves all day long. Now, let's consider the memories that Auntie has gathered as the ley line, and Nichka as the only ancient name bearer of this ley line. There's no way Auntie would let Nichka plunge into the river of memories without any tools. She'd only be overwhelmed by the surge of memories. And considering that Nichka has forgotten all of her past, she'll be unable to work on her own to accurately find the correct past. Only Aunt Tlisoli can help her filter the correct memories of her past. So, if my hypothesis is correct, Auntie is actually planning on turning herself into Nichka's Wyab to help her extract the corresponding memories in the different situations she may face. In an ideal world, this would be
está
perfectly
reescribiendo
fine. As long as every
a su
extracted
hija.
memory is correct, Nichka would essentially be getting her past back. And I also believe that there won't be any mistakes in everything that Auntie remembers about Nichka. But Auntie is not a Wyab. Her body won't be able to handle the load for long.
En cualquier momento podría...
How can we solve this problem? No matter how we try, Tlisoli will...
Ella ya ha tomado una decisión.
Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. I've also made up my mind. Come on, let's go see Auntie.
Vale. Porque si no, la doña se nos muere. Se nos muere.
Xilonen, it looks like you've made your decision. Am I right?
Yes, here's some research that I've done. You can reference it to modify the way the central inscription operates. I'll also help you continue working on the Blaze Gem inscriptions, but I must have complete control over all the inscriptions and the ability to oversee their uses. The memories that can be absorbed by the inscription will be limited solely to Nichka's past. We'll plan a set time frame together from which the memories can be drawn from shortly.
Sí, bueno, pero es que sigue siendo lo mismo. O sea, es algo que no debería de hacerse.
Then I'll consider that as committing a criminal act and halt all work related to the central inscription.
¿Es neta?
After the memory bank is constructed, the Blaze Gem inscription's absorption functions must be stopped immediately. Only functionalities for outputting memories will be kept.
I accept. Thank you, Xilonen. I really...
Auntie, you know I can't stand it when you do this. If you needed my help, you should have just said so. There's no need to beat around the bush like you did.
Using technology for ancient names to forge other things without permission is no trivial matter.
Yes, it's a major departure from the technology's intended use, but it's nothing compared to a child who needs help, compared to a name that's about to be lost. But once this is all over, you must come with me to see Piquenle and discuss everything that happened.
That's fine. I'm willing to accept any punishment for my little Nichka.
All right, let's clear off the table and come up with a plan. I need some time to consider how to let Nichka control the Blaze Gem inscription on her own and extract the memories from her past. Oh, by the way, did you give the book to Nichka?
How could I just hand her a birthday present that you specially brought for her? I've picked out a box and packaged it up. Wait till her birthday and then bring it to her. It'll be a nice surprise.
No, it's just an old book. There's no need to...
¿Y otra vez? Eso sí está raro, ¿no? Eso sí está muy raro.
Oh, is Nichka up again? But what was all that noise? It sounded like something broke.
Oh, no. ¿Se habrá caído Nichka?
Uh-oh. That's not good. Let's go have a look.
Nichka, don't hurt yourself.
Xilonen, is that you? You're Nichka?
How many times have I told you?
¿Es alguien
Don't get
diferente?
out of bed on your own. You were running a fever yesterday.
Hello, Nichka.
Thank you for the book. I've already read it several times.
¿Pero por qué nos tapan la cara? ¿No era ella?
You've already read it? But didn't Tlesoli package up the book that Xilonen brought?
Qué raro, ¿no?
No, she's all mixed up. The one she read isn't from Xilonen. It's one I bought for her before. A few days ago, she told me she wanted a book. I know nothing about these kinds of books, so I had no choice but to go to the tribe and look for a copy. I eventually found one and bought it for her. I put it in her room once I got back. Soon after, she suddenly developed a fever. I was so busy taking care of her that I forgot about the book and even forgot that she had asked you for a gift.
Auntie, do you know which version of the book you bought?
Which version? The shopkeeper said it was the one with the perfect ending to the story. Apparently that's the only one you can find on the market now. It's all my fault. You wasted your money and now it won't even be a surprise.
Oh, it's all right. It's just a book. As long as Nichka enjoys it, that's what matters.
Oh, right. Nichka probably doesn't know us. You're Paimon and Miss Traveler. Mom told me about you. Oh, seems like
Muchas
everyone
cosas
knows
que
who
todavía
we
me
are now.
confunden de esto. Como que todo está medio curioso. O extraño. O no sé. Así no tenemos ni que presentarnos.
Yeah, Nichka seems to be doing pretty well today. Since she's been stuck indoors for the last few days, why don't we take her out for a walk?
A ver si tienes fiebre.
take her for a walk. But considering her condition, I don't think she...
Oh, don't worry, Auntie. She'll be safe with the Traveler and me. We won't leave the tribe, and if anything comes up, we'll be sure to find the doctor immediately. Besides, it's her birthday in a few days, and we need to go to the tribe to buy some things. Let's give her a proper celebration. What do you think, Auntie?
I promise I'll be good, Mom. Didn't you say before that I need more fresh air?
All right. As you wish.
Es que como que está muy bien a comparación de lo que nos estaba diciendo que estaba malulo, ni está tosiendo ni nada.
We can go together. Wait for a moment. I'll go get Nachka's water bottle and some towels. Some medicine. Oh, and a parasol.
Ah, creo que sí. También el sol.
Talk about being prepared.
Con todo eso podríamos irnos de acampada.
It doesn't hurt to be prepared. Okay, let's go. Please be good now, Nachka. Don't cause any trouble for Xilonen and the others.
Oh, you can let me carry these. And don't be a stranger, Nachka. Feel free to tell us anything. And even I was quite a handful for Auntie when I was little.
Yeah! It's not often you get to go out to play, so just have fun. Everything will be fine.
Si no eres traviesa de pequeña.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. And please don't worry, Mom. I'll be good.
No sé, capaz porque no tengo buena memoria.
Let's go look for
Y creo que su diseño era diferente. O nunca la vimos, ya no me acuerdo, hace mucho que hice las otras misiones. Sinceramente.